I'm shooting a video today about how to do a full colony inspection. We've talked about checks where you have a kind of brief little checklist on what you want to look for in a bee colony. Well, I know about 3 weeks to a month ago, I put all the brood that were scattered in these two all in the bottom to make sure the brood nest was wide and she would build up. So today I just want to see all the brood, how she's doing throughout that colony. I am also taking a couple frames from some of these hives and populating my mating nukes today. And I'm also going to do a mite check today. So let's get into this. Have my smoker, just lit it. Keep puffing that to keep that chamber going. Of course, you always have to have a hive tool. The other two things that I like to have with me are a capping scratcher and a bee brush when I'm doing a full colony inspection. I like to have those nearby. And then of course I also like to take some notes. If you're brand new at this, it might even be helpful to just take a sheet of paper and say bottom deep, frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Top deep, frame 1 through 10. And then medium, frame 1 through 10. And actually write down what's in each frame. And what you're going to see essentially, if it's a brood nest, you either have eggs, larvae, capped brood, or emerging brood. Those are the four categories I always use. Eggs are brand new, last 3 days. Larva is going to be your day 4 through 10 time frame. Then they cap that brood. And then emerging brood it's in the process of emerging out of the cells, and the queen's probably laying eggs back into that. But that's a good thing to note, and that you got an idea of the age of the brood. The rest of the frames are either going to be empty, they'll have some nectar, pollen, or honey in them. So those are the categories, and if you want to go through your full inspections and just record that when you're brand new, you get a really good map of what's in your entire beehive. I always use my outer cover to put one of my boxes on. I separate these boxes out. Sometimes you get ants on the top of your colony. You get rid of them. Smoker going. Already seeing that they are drawing out comb in the top. That's pretty drawn out all the way to the top. We might want to super this. When I'm doing inspections like this, I'm going to take top medium off and lay it on end like this. I'm going to tape this deep. Glance underneath. Some drone brood there. Take this and set it to the side there. So if you're recording this, here's the back of the hive, that's the front of the hive. You want to work the colony mostly from the back. And let's say you just want to say this is frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can record what's in each of the frames. So I'm just going to go frame by frame and see what is going on in this colony. You got a little bit of pollen, otherwise mostly empty for frame number 1. You want to set one of those aside Makes it easy to work the rest of these. Getting some pollen. Otherwise empty for number 2. Lots of pollen there. I'd say that's about 80 to 90% full of pollen. So 1, 2, and 3. 3's got a lot of pollen. Four's got a lot of pollen, or some pollen. I'm 4 frames into the bob and I haven't seen eggs yet, which makes me wonder if they have a queen. And there's the brood. This would be an example of emerging brood. These bees have hatched. In fact, there's one hatching right now. There's one hatching right now. There's one hatching right now. These are emerging. These are all going to be out of their cells probably in the next couple days. And I'm not seeing eggs put back in that are emerging. It's kind of the queen's favorite spot to lay, is back in those cells in the middle of the brood nest. Getting more emerging brood. No sign of a queen. I'm in number 6, frame 6. Say about 50% capped brood in frame number 6. Just a little bit of pollen, otherwise this is really light and empty. For 7, and I'm guessing these last 3 are going to be almost empty. Peek at them, yep, pretty light. Not much going on there. There's not even any bees on these last 2 frames. 9 and 10. So what I know is I've got a couple frames, one of emerging brood, one of capped brood in the bottom. Some pollen, just a little bit of nectar down there. And that's my bottom deep. Now, I set this down. This would be number 1 through 10. I'm just going to look at this. And by the way, the reason I like to work on this separate from this, if I had a queen in here, I could put this back on. She could run down there and I wouldn't have even found her. So I know there's not a queen there. Let's see if we got evidence of a queen up here. Frame number one's got a lot of nectar in it. It's kind of heavy. They're storing nectar up there in the top deep. More nectar and pollen. That's full of food on both sides. The foragers are doing their job. As I'm going through this, I'm trying really hard not to squish any bees. There's more emerging brood. See a bee emerging right there, but no eggs being filled back in. And here I see eggs. So there are eggs here. So the queen isn't laying in the bottom deep, but she is laying here. That's a good sign. So she is laying in the top deep. That's frame number 3. And there we have larvae and some capped brood. Larva there too. So we've got a great brood nest in the second deep. That's encouraging. Last couple bees to emerge here, and then she's filling in the middle again. That's frame number 4. Full of brood. Frame number 5, full of brood. No signs of any diseases that I can tell. Clean cup, but no egg in there. So 4 and 5 are full of brood. Number 6, we'll see number 6 here. A lot of eggs here. And a lot of young bees. The young bees are the ones that are kind of furry, small. Those are new bees. It's always good to have a young population. That's the future of your hive. More brood. And there's the queen. Right there. She's looking great. Frame so far 4, 5, and 6 completely full of brood. This will be number 7. Again, more brood. And at this point, I know the queen is there. Number 6. So I'm going to use this one for my mite assessment. You want a frame that's got a lot of nurse bees on it. Nurse bees are tending to larvae. This is full of capped brood and larvae and then eggs. Again, as they're emerging, she's filling it in again. Let's go over and take a mite count. This is colony number 1. I've already got this labeled number 1. This is 70% alcohol, and it's got a measuring line in there, but I always just measure out a half a cup of bees, put it in there. What we want to do is shake this frame of bees off just like this. Put this back. And again, don't be worried if some fly out. That's fine. The ones that fly the best are the ones that are least likely to have mites on them. So I gather the bees in a corner. So the whole point of this is this scoop is about the contour of this dish pan. So it's easy to take a scoop, it's about leveled off, and put it in alcohol wash. And they say you need to swirl this for at least 60 seconds. Again, the nice thing about batch processing this is I can do that later. I'm going to shake the rest of these bees back in their colony. So 3 through 6 has been great brood nest. Here we've got nectar and pollen, mostly nectar. So 3 through 6 was their brood nest. 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's only four really solid frames of brood in the bottom, but they're surrounding themselves with food, and that's good. Nectar and honey there. So what I will do is, what I'm going to do is probably reverse. I'm going to put these, since the brood nest is here, I'm going to put them on the bottom. Put this one either above this one or above the medium, depending on if there's brood in that medium. I'll probably put the medium in the middle. I always try to keep the brood near the bottom and let them build up. And I'll probably put a honey super, at least one on here, so they can move nectar up and start storing honey. So that, in a nutshell, is the process of doing a full colony inspection. Again, you look at every frame, kind of get a map of how your entire colony is doing. Just a little tip, when you're moving frames, push them like this. So go down and then push like this. if you push like this, you're always putting pressure on the top and you'll wear out this joint easier. So we will reverse these quick. So and this one's got the most empty space in it. I want that on the top. Now I will put one or two honey supers on this to give them plenty of room to expand. So I've been swishing this around this way, that way, around like this, rolling like that for quite a while. And right now, I don't know if I can get that, I have one varroa mite. One mite out of 300 bees. So that is well within the threshold of not needing to treat. So I'm excited about that. There's colony number one with the supers on, all put back together.